3rd, 1843. While excavating for archaeological treasures, a group of men led by French scientist Paul-Émile Botta came upon the remains of a huge Assyrian palace, and within it, an abundance of Sumerian cuneiform inscriptions. When translated, the inscriptions told of what archaeologists believe to be the world's oldest civilization, and a group of powerful beings called the Anunnaki.
The Anunnaki was a term of the gods used by the ancient Sumerians, but the original form of it simply meant the sky people. It meant those that were connected with the stars. The Anunnaki were seen to be the givers of civilization to mortal kind, and they are described as having these shining eyes.
March 23rd, cheese from another world. According to Sitchin's interpretation of the tablets, these alien visitors, the Anunnaki, created humankind.
It appears to be that gods came down and literally started a colonization project here on Earth, creating us in their image and after their likeness. It also might stand to reason then that they've infused us with the desire to then spread this colonization project beyond Earth.
I think if you look at what we've been doing in our space program, it's a blueprint for what may have happened here a long time ago with extraterrestrials. But I think we're on the same path.
We're beginning to understand that the Annunaki Gods, that were actually ETs, could be still out throughout the universe. That we could now, as we are starting to head out into space.
Cheese from another.
By what was the first organized civilization in history, the Sumerians. The Sumerian civilization emerged in Mesopotamia around 4500 BC. Over time, it was responsible for building large cities and creating the first system of writing, known as cuneiform writing, on clay tablets. During archaeological excavations in 1849 in Iraq, 14 clay tablets with Sumerian writings were found. The translation of the text revealed one of the most fantastic stories of all time, the story of the Annunaki Gods. According to the Sumerian manuscripts, there is a planet at the ends of the solar system called Nibiru. Every 3,600 years, it enters an orbit close to the planet Earth. Nibiru was the home planet of the Anunnaki, who were experiencing difficulties because the climate and atmosphere of the planet were changing rapidly. By what was the first
inhabited the Earth and also inhabited the underworld. In rare ancient myths, it is mentioned that they ascended to heaven and lived there together with the supreme divine creatures. At the dawn of the development of the Sumerian Akkadian mythology, the Anunnaki were considered a caste of chthonic gods.
Chthonic gods are creatures that inhabit the dark underworld. Personalized, uncontrollable, wild forces of nature.
Younger gods often acted as intermediaries between mortal people and cosmic higher deities. They transmitted advice, guidance and knowledge, secured agreements between people and gods, accepted and redirected sacrifices for the sovereigns and so on. In a number of ancient myths, creatures act as those who decide the fate of all living on Earth. They patronize people and protect them. On the other hand, the Anunnaki are a kind of supreme judge, evaluating human actions and able to punish for sins. There is an assumption, which appeared already nowadays, that the Anunnaki could act as slaves for the the Earth, and they used precious metal in the form of dust in order to create an external field for their planet. It retains sunlight, heat and acts as a reinforced shield. Initially, they mined gold in the bowels of their own planet. But at some point, the reserves were completely depleted. Therefore, the divine creatures went to explore other celestial bodies, hoping to find the element they needed on them. Having found themselves on Earth and having realized that there are plenty of gold reserves here, the creatures decided to create assistants, in another version, slaves. The Anunnaki conducted several experiments in which they crossed their DNA with the genes of the Earth's monkeys. After several unsuccessful experiments that led only to dead-end branches of development, the aliens managed to create a reasonable person. Exploring the Earth, the aliens quickly realized that many useful materials could be found in this place. Gradually, apart from gold, they began mining tungsten, silver and other elements, using them as fuel for. They used precious past lived freely on Earth. They are believed to have witnessed Atlantis disappear. After such an event, the Anunnaki, leaving their children born of Earth women, and several representatives of the race, left the Earth. Since then, aliens return every 3,600 or more years. Flights. Against the background of the widespread point of view that Nibiru is the red killer planet, there is another theory. This celestial object's actually a huge spacecraft, on which the Anunnaki travel through starry space, patrolling their territories. In illustrations to support such a hypothesis, Nibiru is depicted as a disk with wings. In the records of the ancient Sumerians, there are also mentions about alien space moving. The texts say that the Anunnaki fly in chariots of fire. When they land in our world, all mortal beings need to move away so as not to suffer from red-hot sparks. Presumably, past lived freely on Earth.